lost all those coaches. So if someone said that, what does D. Fox say?
I'd say that they're way off. No way that they missed the playoffs. I do understand that losing the coaches is a problem, but they've been preparing for losing Ben Johnson. They knew that was going to happen. I think the bigger issue is maybe addressing the middle of that offense, which is the strongest point of their offense. And losing Ragnow and Zeitler is going to be a problem, but I think they overcome that because Jared Goff, honestly, he's been excellent since he's been there. And that defense was really good despite a bunch of injuries. They get back Hutch, who was playing MVP level football. I think this team is still going to be atop of that division.
All right, that's a team that's been close to the Super Bowl the last couple of years. So has this. If I said this is the year Josh Allen and the Bills finally get to the big game, what does D. Fox say?
I say he absolutely might. The problem with a quarterback like that is this team is like Joe Burrow said. The window is open for the Bills as long as Josh Allen is there. But the problem is the window is also open for Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes in that AFC. So he could, but I wouldn't be surprised if he misses it because those guys are great too.
All right, let's do one more. If I said Jayden Daniels is going to be the MVP of the league this year, what does D. Fox say?
I say he could have been it last year. Like, I think the same way that we made arguments for Joe Burrow being MVP of the league, it's pretty easy to make arguments for why Jayden Daniels was the most valuable player. He took that team from us expecting them not even to make the playoffs to winning a playoff game. He was incredible. I think MVP for him is certainly realistic, especially if they pay McLaurin and get his receivers back in camp.
Well, we'll get to McLaurin in a second. First, let's hear from Austin Eckler, who believes that last season was just the beginning for Jayden and the rest of this offense's potential. Listen.
I think there's going to be even more growth this year, which is awesome because of where we're at with our team. We've got a lot of players back, still have a lot of playmakers, going to get Terry paid, and then, man, we're going to be looking like a powerhouse out there.
So a lot of, I don't think there has been this much enthusiasm around this franchise. Certainly not, I mean, maybe in this millennium. So, Shefty, let's talk about that. Everyone talking about Terry McLaurin. He needs to get a deal done. What can you tell us?
They're not close right now, and they continue to struggle to find that deal. And again, Greeny, it's June 26th.
Right.
If we're still having this same conversation on July 26th, it's a little bit more of an issue. If we're having it on August 26th, then it's something that's hanging out there all summer, and that really does serve as a distraction. But Terry McLaurin has been so important to this football team, and this team made such strides, and he's their best wide receiver. It's hard to imagine that they wouldn't figure out a solution at some point this summer. But it has not gone well so far, and they're not close to getting a deal done.
Help me with this, Mike T, my GM.
Yeah, you have to find a landing spot because he's also been not only productive but incredibly durable. He hasn't missed a game in over 5 years. So, again, you have an in your prime quarterback, as Geek alluded to, maybe an MVP this year. So you have to find a landing spot. The tough part is I don't see a team wanting to go to $40 million where Jamar Chase is. Maybe you throw out the high and then you figure out, somewhere else to land. I guess you don't like that idea.
No. It's not a simple deal to do. When you look at some of the deals that have gone on this offseason, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, all big deals. And Terry McLaurin has the numbers to present an argument as to why he should be getting a significant deal. But for whatever reason, they have not been able to make much progress so far.
They have the quarterback on the rookie contract, which is always the incredibly valuable thing to have. Dominique, the world doesn't always work in a linear fashion, right? Like you look at the Commanders, they went from 0 to 60 last year. You say, oh, just a little bit of improvement. They should be on their way up. Sports don't always work that way. What do you expect from the Commanders this year?
Yeah, I think that they could have a better season and be a better team and not have nearly as good results. So that's unfortunate, but I think to your point, we've all been around sports long enough to believe that a team is going to continue to improve. And there's no reason that why this team doesn't continue to improve, but there's always a chance in football. But I do think that the Terry McLaurin thing, I think I had basketball on the brain. I think I called him TJ McLaurin, like TJ McConnell. But no reason to believe that they don't get the Terry McLaurin deal done because they have to. And to Schefter's point, he does have the numbers. If he didn't have the numbers, they would use those numbers to not pay him. So if he has the numbers to support him being paid that way, then you kind of got to pay him, especially if you have an ascending quarterback who is very, very cheap right now. So they really have no excuse not to pay a great player like McLaurin.
Well, the ascending quarterback allows them to go out and trade for Deebo Samuel, trade for Laramie Tunsil, trade for Marshawn Lattimore, and make a run right now. And again, we're talking about Caleb Williams before taking that next step. Jayden Daniels has been there, and this is a transcendent figure who has elevated an entire organization.
Agree. When you add to that Josh Conley at right tackle and his first offseason program, if I'm buying stock, I'm buying stock in the Commanders.
Yeah, me too. We'll see. Back to the hoop. One much closer to the end. This week on McAfee, Aaron Rodgers opened up about his 21st NFL season potentially being his last.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. That's why we just did a one-year deal. Steelers didn't need to, put any extra years on that or anything. So, this was really about finishing with a lot of love and fun and peace for the career that I've had. I mean, I played 20 freaking years. It's been a long run. I've enjoyed it. And when this is done, I'm done. And you won't see me. And I'm looking forward to that. But while I'm in it, and then for this year, I'm going to give the Steelers everything that I got and empty the tank and be super comfortable and satisfied with whatever happens.
All right, as always with Aaron, there's so much to unpack there. But I want to start with the love and fun and peace part, Nick, because you're a player, and the guys yesterday opened my eyes to this. Like Bart Scott and Andrew Hawkins were here yesterday, Hawk, and they were saying, I was saying, what is that? He's coming back to try and win. Why would you come back if not to try and win? And they were telling me, players, the idea of trying to sort of end it on your own terms can be very important, particularly for a guy like Rodgers who's been at it so long. So love and fun and peace, of which he probably had none the last 2 years with everything that happened with the Jets. And what is when you hear him say that, how do you assess his mindset going into the season?
Love and fun and peace is just euphemisms for winning. Nobody loves you when you lose. It ain't no fun when you're getting your ass kicked, and you certainly don't have any peace when you're down by 30. Like, that's what it boils down to. I think we all would love to walk away under our own terms. It's going to be really hard to walk away on your own terms if he does have all that love and fun and peace, because that means he's going to be really successful and have a good year. Rarely do players want to walk away like that, which is why we think about John Elway ending on the top, and even Peyton Manning, who ended with the Super Bowl win. That season wasn't very loving or peaceful for him or his body, so it's a really hard thing to have in that situation. I expect Aaron Rodgers to play much better and play well in that organization, and I'm not so sure that he's going to walk away at the end of it the way that he says he will right now. I'm sure he means it now, but let's say they haul off and have a good season, they make a deep run and don't win the Super Bowl. It's going to be really hard for Aaron Rodgers just to disappear into the sunset.
Love and peace to him right now sounds like playing in Pittsburgh for a storied franchise, for a head coach that he has immense respect for in Mike Tomlin. That's love and peace, but he's also sounded like a guy that couldn't wait to be done and move on to the next chapter of his life, whatever that is. He wants to step out of the public eye. That seems very important to him, but that chip that he has now from the way last year ended, it's really important for him to go out on a positive note, not the way it ended with the Jets, not with the Jets telling him you're not wanted back here after he flew across the country and didn't appreciate the fact that he had to do that. I think he's looking for that one last dance that sends him off the way that he wants, so he can remember his football career with love, peace, and happiness.
Great to use one of your lines. Sneaky big news to me is Caleb Johnson, third-round pick, Iowa running back, because Coach Parcells used to say, like, quarterbacks are put on this planet with only so many hits to their body. He's going to be 42 years old. He does not want to get hit. And what does Arthur Smith like to do? Run the ball, play action. And if Caleb Johnson can get going and this offensive line play better, Aaron Rodgers could have a very good year. His skill set could work, but he's not going to sit back there and get pounded.
Elvis Costello once famously sang, "What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?" Maybe Aaron Rodgers will find the answer this year in Pittsburgh.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người, bây giờ mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn làm lá trầu.